Yo, what's up guys, it's Ruben here with my newest Templar DPS build for PvP, both non-CP and CP. Now, I know I released this Templar build like a month ago or something, but I changed a bit around and I have a very interesting new setup now. I currently use one hand and shoot and dual wields, a setup that I haven't seen a lot myself and I really like it. So before we're going to get started, I'm going to say the ups and downs of this build real quick. Ups. Really high DPS, you can deal a lot of pressure and also consistent damage, you know, over time damage and just abilities. It's really good. Great crits and sustain is not an issue either. So what's the disadvantage? Well, it's a bit on the squishy side, you know, it's a little bit on the squishy side. But apart from that, I don't really have problems with this build. I actually really like it. It's really mobile, DPS is great. Again, you are a little bit squishy. But the build is also very easy to learn offensive wise, you know. Defensive wise, it might be a little bit harder, but even then it's not too hard to learn either. So with having said that, we just straight jump into the point. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, let's get started with the gear first. I'm first of all going to talk about the two 5-piece sets and then I'm going to talk about the monster sets because we can swap those around. So first of all, I have 5 Bone Pirate. Bone Pirate is just really good for maximum stamina, stamina recovery and just stamina sustain in general, you know. It's one of the best melee armor sets out there at the moment in the game for sustain, without a doubt. Then I go for 5 Briarheart. 2 items adds weapon critical, more weapon critical. When you do critical damage, you have a 10% chance to increase your weapon damage by 440 for 10 seconds. While this effect is active, your critical strike heals you for 670 health. This effect can acquire once every 15 seconds. Important note, the moment this procs, the cooldown will proc as well. So by the time your 10 seconds are over, there is actually only a 5-second cooldown. So I myself have, for example, Bone Pirate. I have 4 armor pieces. Oh no, wait, I have 3 Bone Pirate armor piece and 2 jewelry. The reason why I did this is just because that's how it went for me. Because I already had some Bone Pirate pieces. In the end, it's just important that you get the Briarheart weapons and then 3 other Briarheart pieces plus 5 Bone Pirates. But not the monster sets because we want to use monster set piece on these. So what I'm saying basically is you can go 5 Bone Pirate armor pieces and 3 jewelry plus weapons. It's all up to you and what is most easiest for you to acquire, you know. On the back bar I have agility. So here you go. And the reason I have agility on the back bar is just for the increased maximum stamina, you know. Just a little bit of increased maximum stamina will increase my healing done. And then monster set. Currently I'm using Pirate's Skeleton, heavy, along with a heavy Stormfist's Visage. Stormfist for the increased stamina recovery and Pirate's Skeleton for the increased psycho and spell resistance. So with this setup I do less critical damage, but I'm so much more tanky because of 2 heavy armor pieces plus Pirate's Skeleton bonus. You can also choose to go for Fellodraff. Fellodraff has a really nice proc. Those balls do a lot of damage. Okay, that sounds really wrong, but you get what I'm saying. Or even Selene. Though, if I would replace this with a damage set, I would definitely prefer Fellodraff over Selene. Fellodraff procs more. The damage a ball does is just a little bit lower than Selene proc. However, you get 3 balls, whereas Selene is just 1. So the trades you kind of want on the gear, I mean, I only have 1 impenetrable, and that really sucks, you know. I can't wait for the system. But impenetrable is what you want. You want impenetrable. Optimum would be around 5 impenetrable and 2 well fitted. Or it says impenetrable, 1 well fitted. That would be optimal. We enchant everything pretty much with maximum stamina. On the big pieces, if you have the funds for it, you can actually go try some enchantments as well. So just helmet, chest and legs. Jewelry, we have 2 times stamina recovery and 1 times weapon damage enchantment. You can also choose to go twice for weapon damage enchantment and 1 time stamina recovery. It's kind of up to you. to see with how much sustain you want to go. If you go CP campaign, I really would recommend to run 2 weapon damage and not 1. One-handed shield. On the one-handed axe, increase weapon damage enchantment. On the shield, maximum stamina, because we only fall back to this and we use it pretty much for the buffs and figure. And of course on the daggers we use decrease health enchantment, oblivion damage, so you can damage through the shields. Recommended traits for next patch would be without a doubt Nirnhound. Briarheart currently doesn't come in Nirn, so with the transmute system I really am going to change this to Nirn if it's not too hard to grind, you know, all those transmute crystals. If not, you can go for either precise and powered. Precise and powered are both very, very nice, except for that we don't really use our front bar anymore for healing, except for the figure we are having on this bar. So then we come to the points distribution. Currently I have 26 points in health and I have 38 in stamina. This was before I was wearing 2 heavy armor pieces. So if you're wearing heavy armor, you can do 20 in health and the rest in stamina. If you go for the full medium armor setup, I really would recommend 26 points in health. What you kind of want to aim for is around 21-22k health for non-CP battlegrounds. I currently also have a little bit of health because I'm an orc, you know. The wound we are using is the Serpent Mundus, increase your stamina recovery. And again, here you can also go for the Thief Mundus, which will increase your weapon critical damage. The Thief Mundus is really nice, man. You have so much critical, like it's really, really high. You have around 70% weapon critical, which is incredibly high, but you will definitely feel it in your sustain. So that's kind of up to you. And the drink we were using, again, WS Cameron Throne, combined with Bone Pirates, increased stamina recovery, max stamina and max health. Very, very useful. So now we got those covered, we go into our front bar, the dual wield bar. So this one is a bit interesting because, you know, we don't have a two-handed anymore for rally, but Major Brutality is such a good thing. We are using Shrouded Daggers for this. Fire a secret dagger from your sleeve at an enemy, dealing 6k psycho damage and reducing their movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. The dagger bounces up to 2 times to other nearby enemies, dealing 7.3k psycho damage on the first bounce and 8.8k psycho damage on the second bounce. Also grants Major Brutality, increasing your weapon damage by 20% for 20 seconds. So this is really nice, especially in situations like Battlegrounds at small scale, because it will actually do quite a lot of damage, give you Major Brutality and slow down the other people, you know. So that's really useful. Number 2, we have Rendering Slashes, and Rendering Slashes is very nice because of psycho damage it deals, but also the bleed damage it does over time, combined with to reduce their movement speed by 50% for the duration. Rending Slashes and Shrouded Daggers. Rending Slashes the second ability, Shrouded Daggers is the last ability. Number 3, we have Binding Jabs. Our main DPS. Well, nearest enemy takes 140 additional damage each strike and the movement speed is reduced by 70% for 2 seconds on the final hit. Also grants you minor savagery, increasing your weapon critical rating by 2.2k. Boom! Let's go. Dance Ref, number 3. Power of the Robo. Deal 4k psycho damage to them and copying all their damage taken for 6 seconds and releasing 20% of it as additional psycho damage to them. So 20% of the damage you deal will be, you will get that hit again at the end after 6 seconds. So let's say in 6 seconds I deal 10k damage and it's over, he will get a 2k damage tick. Maximum copy damage 20k. So it's also copying from group members, so it's a really high tick if you really focus on someone, you know. Target are also inflicted with minor fracture and minor breach. Number 5, we have Figure. The reason I have Figure on the front bar is because I don't want to weapon swap all the time, you know. So that's why I have the healing here on this front bar. Figure is acquired from the second ability from the Assault skill line. Ultimate, we have Dawnbreaker of Smiting. Not too expensive ultimate. Increase our weapon damage a little bit, and you can really, really nicely animation cancel this ability. So on the back bar, On number 1 we have Invasion from a one-hand and shield ability. This will be our gap closer, stuns up to 88% longer based on distance traveled. Number 2 we have Restoring Focus. Restoring Focus is from Restoring Light last ability. Increase our resistance by 5.3k. Also got minor fatality and minor protection, increasing your healing received by 8% and reducing your damage taken by another 8%. Number 3 we have Shuffle. Even with the changes coming, we are using 5 medium armor anyways, so we will be able to keep using Shuffle, which is really good. Shuffle, medium armor ability, increase our dodge chance. Well, what more to say. Number 4 we have Repentance. Repentance is useful for increased recovery, and we can, especially in Battlegrounds and Open World PvP, well that's most of the PvP, but still. What I basically am saying is in a duel it would not be that useful, but apart from that, it is really nice because you can get quite a lot of resources back. If you, for example, in a duel or you don't want to use, I would go for Eclipse and morph it to Total Dark. Total Dark would be a better morph than the Unstable Core because the explosion won't help you a lot, not as a stamina build. So if you want to, if you really don't like Repentance, I would really recommend to get Total Dark, which is actually really useful, especially in Sword fights. And number 5, Extended Ritual, just to cleanse the self. I mean, those two abilities are really the only thing we use our Magicka for, you know. Apart from that, we don't really use our Magicka. Just for Restoring Focus, which will, it has a duration of 18 seconds plus another 8 seconds from when you leave it, is 26 seconds. So the only thing after that is Extended Ritual. Ultimate Spell Wall. So Spell Wall is such a good ultimate, you know. If you get pressured a lot, you can just cast it, it will reflect back everything. You just have a perma block for 7 seconds. It's just really, really good and it's not too expensive. And last but not least, the champion points. So the Tower. 13 in Warlord, reduce the cost of break free. 18 Sprinter, reduce the cost of sprint. 27 in Siphoner, where you do damage with a light or heavy attack, you decrease the enemy's health, magicka and stamina recovery by 7%. 72 in Moonkelf, 4 in Arcanist, just a little bit of magicka, you know. And 43 in Tenacity, increase the magicka and stamina you fully charge, heavy attacks restored by 10%. 33 in Tumbling, reduce the cost of roll dodge, and 20 in Shadow Ward. 42 in Blast, increase healing done by 10%. 23 Shattering Blows, increase damage done to enemies with a shield. Sorceress. 37 Master in Arms. 25 Psycho Weapon Experts. 34 in Piercing and 60 in Mighty. 10 Medium Armor Focus. 15 Ironclad. 35 in Spell Shield. 35 Resistance. 35 Hardy and 35 Elemental Defender. 25 in Quick Recovery and 30 in Expert Defender. Now I already know there's going to be some smart ass, you know, in the comment section like, Ruben, why do you distribute your champion points like this? They will scale up or down. You will waste champion points. Yes, I know. I might, you know, if you really optimize, you might get that extra CP point free and you might get 1% more stamina recovery. So instead of 2563, I can have 2580 stamina recovery. I mean, if it's really up to that little bit of difference regarding recovery, you know, then I would just suggest to, you know, it's not going to matter. It really isn't going to matter. Maybe in 0.001% of your fights that would have made the difference. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about it. So the top race I would recommend for this, I mean, I myself am an orc. Then I'm talking about my in-game character, not about my ugly face in real life. The top races for this are still number 1, Redguard, without a doubt. Redguard is king. And number 2, kind of shared spot, Orc and Wood Elf, aka Bosmer. And on number 3, shared spot kind as well, Nord and Imperial. That are my top 5, the 5 races I really would recommend. Without a doubt, Redguard first. Orc and Wood Elf can be very viable as well. Especially the Wood Elf if you're going for a more stamina sustained setup, you know. So this was the 1 versus 1, which is just perfect to explain the rotation. I see the enemy, I use my gap closer invasion. After that I directly swept to my dual wield bar. First of all, I use Shroud Daggers to gain major brutality, so I increase my weapon damage. After that I place Power of the Robo, Power of the Light, and then I use Rendering Slashes for the overtime bleed damage and the other snare. Then I'm going to Weave combined with Biting Jabs. He's pressuring me as well and dealing damage. And this is why we have Figure on our front bar. We use Figure. Directly after we just stay going offensive, you know. We keep getting healed from Figure and we stay going offensive. Power of the Light is proccing. We keep the pressure up. There isn't really a need to recast it. I did it anyways, but there really wasn't a need to do it. And boom, he is down. Weapon swap, use Repentance and move on. Purge myself, boom, next target, and keep going. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Much more news about this channel coming up very soon. Do not forget to check out the website www.twitch.tv/gettheedge. Join our Discord, link in the description, and maybe watch me live on Twitch if you ever have questions or you have several questions. I always have Q&A. Have a great day, bye bye, see you in Terminal, I'm out.